Any type of leadership requires emotional intelligence. Agile leadership is a new, so to say, democratic way of leadership cannot survive without EQ. Today, as a psychologist and agile master with more than a decade of experience, I will explain you how exactly emotional intelligence separates average leaders from great agile leaders. Let's start our discussion from the differentiation between agile and the traditional way of working. The main difference is that in agile, people and teams are self-organized, and in the traditional project management, there is a person in the center of the process, so to say, snowflake, which connects to everyone around, and everything comes back to that person. So this person orchestrates everyone, and nobody can do anything without their approval. Agile way of working is absolutely different. Teams know what they have to do. They have responsibility and authority to make decisions. And therefore, nobody else can tell them what exactly to do. There is no project manager in Agile, but there are Scrum Masters, Product Owners, and developers themselves. So there are different roles because there is a different way of making decisions. For those decisions to be very effective and actually working, people must be very professional. And we also expect them to be very mature so that they can take responsibility and make commitment by themselves. So they know what to do and they can do because they committed to something and they know the best how to implement it. So the biggest limitation of Agile is people. And even Agile Manifesto says individuals and interactions over processes and tools. It does not mean that in Agile we don't have processes or tools. Of course we do have. And me having a lot of experience in big corporations, like including BMW, for example, of course we have very strict international audits. Yeah, we have to be compliant and we have to have strict tools and processes, and we have to report and show everything how we work, and that this way of working is corresponded to international standards. So of course there are tools and processes, but people and interactions are way more important. The next question to think about is whether everyone around us in professional world is so well developed, mature personally and professionally, to be able to make a commitment and take full responsibility of what we are doing. The simple answer is no. And here we need a lot of skills and emotional intelligence to develop people. When we say self-organized team, it sounds like they can organize themselves, they don't need anyone. But the truth is, they actually need a leader to grow them to the condition when they are together, are actually a team, and forming that unity, that superpower, then together they can achieve whatever they have to achieve. And this is our role as leaders, to teach them, to grow them, to facilitate, to give them opportunities, to empower those teams. Now let's talk about emotional intelligence a bit more. So what is emotional intelligence? It's the possibility of understanding, recognizing, and managing my own emotions, and understanding, recognizing emotions of others, as well as managing those emotions. So empathy and kind of social skills in general. All managers need it, everyone. But agile leader specifically even more. So this person needs these 4 categories the most. So understanding, managing my own emotions, understanding and managing emotions of others. Without empathy, without social skills, without collaboration, this leadership is just impossible. Let's dive into the details. So when you have a new team and you have to implement Agile or set up a Scrum team, besides doing technical stuff, organizing Jira or whatever tool to manage tickets and the framework with meetings and so on. So besides all of this technical stuff, Agile leader would create the culture and safety environment for this team to be able to communicate and openly share their opinions so that they can innovate and create something great together. And it might feel a bit soft, like culture, who needs it? But culture is strategy for breakfast. It's a crucial thing. So the safe environment so that everyone can talk and everyone brings their strongest skills and maybe emotional characteristics, their personalities, to unpack those personalities, to understand, to recognize emotions, and personalities of others, and to manage the highest efficiency out of that for the better for the whole team. This is the skill which agile leader must have. And if you have any issues, by the way, to set up agile framework for your teams, or how to understand your teams better, reach me out by the link in the description and we will find the best way of our collaboration. I empower business leaders to transform mindsets and behaviors to achieve their goals, and you can be one of them. The next point is that change is constant in agile. It's just the nature of agile. That's why we are agile, because we cannot predict the future. Nobody can, that's for sure. But in traditional project management, we have some milestones when we know everything and requirements are fixed. In agile, by default, by definition of agile, it's not like that. We have very high level understanding where we are moving, but details are not given, and that's why we have to constantly change. And here let's come back for what emotional intelligence is. It's understanding of my own emotions and regulating them. If I, as a leader, cannot deal with a constant change, which could be stressing, and I cannot regulate my emotions, and I automatically give all of these emotions to the team will be demotivated, frustrated, and burnout. So we have to be very good with our own emotions, understanding that, I'm now in stress, I'm now not sure what the future will bring. Should I share exactly what I feel to the team immediately so that all of them are frustrated and feel what I do now? Or should I somehow regulate my emotions, think how to rephrase it, how to think of it from the different perspective, and find together with the team? So not to hide information, but to share in a way that we are caring about them, and then together find the best solution. So without emotional intelligence, this leader, scrum master, whatever we call this person, passes all of these emotions, fears, and frustration to the team. And with emotional intelligence, this person shares resilience and adaptability. The next topic, agile relies on feedback loops. What does it mean? Our sprint reviews, our retrospectives, all the feedback which we receive from clients or stakeholders is constant and should be provided and received in a professional way. And here, the role of the agile leader is crucial. So first of all, we teach the team how to accept the feedback, how to deal with it, how to professionally take it and not overreact or not take it personally, and so on, how to give the feedback back to the stakeholder or whomever you are interacting. And from another side, as an agile leader, you are working with stakeholders. So product owner works with stakeholders in terms of the scope and deadlines. But agile leader, scrum master, works with stakeholders in terms of collaboration, so framework, how we set up it, and how we interact. And this is very important, that you are teaching stakeholders how to give feedback to your team, because our role is to protect the team, to boost their efficiency. And when team is demotivated by the horrible feedback, which was provided probably not in a very professional way, they are not efficient, and this doesn't help anyone. So what I usually do, I prepare stakeholders in advance. I explain what exactly team did, how much effort they spent, and so on. And when something is not in a perfect way, you can also communicate it a bit in advance so that stakeholders are not shocked, because everything is possible. It could be the situation when not everything is done and so on. It could be. But we have to prepare them that they are not fully demotivating and destroying the team with their shock reaction. So you as a leader, anticipate emotions of others, of stakeholders, and of your team, and work in advance with those emotions. You can teach your team or you can order trainings. For example, I provide corporate trainings for teams and leaders to learn what emotional intelligence is, how to recognize emotions, and what to deal with them. This is a very good training with some theory, but a lot of practice also. Reach me out by the link in the description. Let's talk about motivation, which is beyond metrics. Velocity and story points do not inspire people. Feeling valued, understood, and supported does. Leaders with strong emotional intelligence connect work with purpose, which creates intrinsic motivation. By the way, I have a video regarding motivation. If you want to dive into the details, just follow the link. In short, motivation is very specific from one person to another person because it is based on their values. So first of all, you have to understand values of each personal individual in your team and of each stakeholders and everyone around, and start with yourself. That will give you the feeling of what exactly would motivate this person. If person values quality a lot, professionalism, that it should be done perfectly, great, then this will motivate. And then when it's done perfectly, or you give the possibility to make it perfectly, so you give enough time, for example, or enough resources to make it perfectly, then this person will be happy. If person values speed, that it is done in the fastest way, then you give something else. So to motivate first person, quality oriented, with it was done fast, or the second person, speed oriented, it was done perfectly, not a good idea, right? So you have to understand what exactly motivates this person, growing professionally or leading the team and be able to grow other team members or anything else. You have to understand those values behind and motivate the person by giving them what they actually want to receive. This will definitely benefit for the whole team and for the whole your company. If you need any support, just let me know. I also consult people personally. To summarize, Agile puts people in the center. EQ is what actually equips leaders to work with people and not just processes. If this video resonates with you, give it a like and subscribe to Psychology in Business for more insights on leadership, psychology, and building thriving teams. See you in the next episode.